Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Okay, I will continue my session for the picture perfect imagery using Drone2Map. Actually, instead of Drone2Map, I will share to you how you can leverage your imagery in various platforms, in desktop, online, and also in web scene. Okay, for the Drone2Map for ArcGIS, the latest version is 1.3.1, which has been released this year. There is a lot of additional functionalities and enhancement for this new release. For example, the latest version for DJI Spark camera have been added to the camera database, and also the support for the multispectral camera, such as Sequoia, and also the improvement in the DTM and also the 3D mesh output, and many more. Okay, so how you can use Drone2Map to export imagery? Okay, from the drone, you can use, actually, people keep asking whether if I have this brand of drone, this kind of drone, can I use Drone2Map to process it? Okay, actually, the benefit of Drone2Map is actually it is not associated with the drone platform. Actually, is any kind of imagery can process by Drone2Map if your imagery have the XYZ associated with it. And it is an added advantage if your imagery also have the omega phi kappa. Okay, for your information, Drone2Map is powered by Pix4D, and the auto mapping engine using Drone2Map is collaborated with the Pix4D. And another benefit of Drone2Map is it have 4 template, which means if you don't have any knowledge about drones, you still can produce the orthophoto or 3D using this template. Okay, by using Drone2Map, you can export your imagery into the AutoMosaic, DSM, DTM, 3D, Smart Inspection, 3D PDF, contour lines, NDVI, and many more. Okay, from this output, you can directly share to your portal or online without you need to going back to your office or lab to copy the data. Okay, from that, the staff at your office can do the further information and process to use in various of ESRI platform. For example, in ArcGIS Pro or Operation Dashboard and Navigator and many more. Okay, let me show you the demo. For this demo, I'm using the MRT Corp and MSC Gamuda data for their MRT Titiwangsa station. Okay, let me show you how easy Drone2Map is. This is example of the template that you can use. For example, if you want to export the orthophoto mosaic without any setting unit, you want input and output, you just use the rapid template. If you have any setting that you want to use, for example, you want to the high texture or high resolution, you can use 2D. We have lots of setting you can use. And also for 3D and also inspection. Okay, let me show you the 3D mapping that MRT produced. This is example of the MRT Titiwangsa. This is example of the 3D mesh output that I'm using for the medium texture. Okay, let me show you the processing option. For the 3D, there is lots of formats that you can output, and also you can output the 3D PDF. If you don't have any software, but you need to preview your 3D, you can use this function, 3D PDF. And the advantage of using Drone2Map is that you can export it in the scene layer package, which means from this data, you can share or use it in your ArcGIS Pro or also in your web base. Let me show you the example of the 2D. This is an example of the setting that you can use. This is an example of the NDVI that you can output. I said it is very easy. There is no complex setting that you need to use. In terms of the processing time, it is actually depends on your hardware and your number of raster data, and also your flying height. Okay, from this, you can share your 3D mesh into the scene layer. Okay, for example, you want to share the 3D mesh, MRT line 2. Okay, and when you click OK, the result should be like this. This is the view that from the 3D web scene. From this, actually, you have capabilities to do the measurement and also for the animation, for the shadow analysis. Okay, and also from this, you can use it for your web application. Okay, if you want to directly measure from Drone2Map, we have capabilities to measure the distance, the area, the volume, and also the elevation profile. Please note that if you want to use this calculate volume, you need to have the 3D analyst extension. Okay, next is I will share to you about the new extension from ESRI, which is the image analyst extension for ArcGIS Pro. Okay, it has been released in early this year, which focusing on advanced image interpretation, analysis, and exploitation. Okay, for this session, I will explain to you the 3 functionalities of the image analyst extension, which means the first one is the image space, image sensor perspective view. Okay, displaying any kind of imagery in a map base, usually it will inherently distorted, stretch, and also some of the building will be twisted. But by using the image space, you can have the capabilities to view your imagery based on the satellite position. On top of that, you can measure your building based on the shadow. Okay, the next is the mensuration. From the perspective view, instead of just viewing, you can do the measurement, which you need, your raster need to have the sensor models and also sun elevation angle. And the third one is the stereo, which is enable you to get a detailed and accurate elevation and height measurement by using the red and cyan anaglyph glasses or active shutter. Okay, let me show you the demos. Okay, for example, this is my oblique imagery. As you can see that it's near impossible if you want to measure, and it looks not natural. Okay. When I activate the perspective view, you can see that it looks more natural. Okay, the left is your original, and the right is your original image, and the left is the perspective view. Instead of multispectral, panchromatic also have the capabilities for this function. Okay, this is example of the original image, and this is when I activate the perspective view. Instead of viewing, you can also add your shapefile on top of the perspective view of your imagery. Okay, let me show you if you want to measure the building height based on the shadow. These have the capabilities for the measurement. For example, shadow height. Okay, so you can see that the height of the building is approximately 56 meters. Okay, this is the measurement, the viewing of the measurement. Instead of view in the ArcGIS Pro, you can export it to the text file for your report generation. Okay, this is for the stereo. Okay, in order to view this, you need to have an anaglyph glasses. Okay, as you can see that in ArcGIS Pro, you can have multiple view. For example, this is a stereo, 2D, and scene. Okay, for example, if I want to digitize a building and I have a shapefile, you can directly digitize it on the stereo, and on the scene viewer, it will directly have the height of your shapefiles. Let me show you the example. Okay, as you can see that it will automatically add in your scene viewer. Okay, for the next is I will share to you that how you can extend your imagery capabilities to the web. Okay, early this year, ESRI has 3 new web application and web widget that specifically for the imagery that have been out of beta. Okay, the first one is the image viewer, which you can easily visualize and explore your imagery through time and space using different acquisition and also the swipe tools. It is can be important in various sector. For example, in the oil company, asset manager wish to review the latest imagery of the oil wells, noting any point of concern to alert workers in the field. And also for the imagery response coordinator, which can use the swipe tools to compare the pre and post disaster and quickly triage area that needs assistance. Okay, the second one is the image mask, which is have the advanced capabilities from the viewer, which is, for example, NDVI, SAVI, which is more advanced function that you can be used. This is as important for the farmer, which is quickly identify the changes in crop health, and also for the image analyst to recording burn scar extent across their satellite imagery. And the third one is the image visit, which is focusing on to quickly review your image based on the sequences of the attributes. It is important for the, for example, insurance company to review properties after an event like flooding or hurricane, and also for the image analyst to check a collection of the marking control points. Okay, let me show you the demos. Okay, once you have published your imagery as the image services, you can create it using a template, which is called the interpret imagery. This is a template that you can use, which you don't need any programming language to use it. It is easy to use and configurable. For example, I'm using image viewer, and I have two images. For example, the before and after the recent tsunami at the Palu, Indonesia. This is an example of the setting, which is very easy to use. Okay, and the result will be like this. For example, I have a bookmark here, and also you can use the swiping tool to review a pre and post disaster. You can see that. And on top of that, you can add the feature dataset for the assessment. For example, I set it as an extreme damage. You can just click it, and we directly save to your portal. Yep, and it's easy like that. And also for the image mask, this is an example for the image mask, as you can see that. You can choose, for example, I have a Landsat image service. In here, you can choose the date that you want to preview in here. And also the method, for example, in here, I already set the vegetation index and also the single band. And also you can draw polygon on your specific area. Okay, for the image visit, this example for the pool monitoring in Hollywood. For example, if I want to update that pool that I have not been accessed yet, okay, you can edit notes. For example, in here, there is no pools. And so you can add here, no pools. So you can click next for the next sequence. Okay. Okay, for the last topic that I want to share is NV, which is using the crop science extension. Okay, for people that involved in crop and plantation, they always need to know how their growth of their crops and how natural disaster affect their crop. Okay. For these demos, I will show you how you can precisely count your crop, and also you can know how health is your crop. Okay, for example, I have data which is oil palm across the Venezuela, and also first I need to differentiate the land and also the oil palm. And to doing that, I will use the spectral indices. Okay. Okay, in here I will use okay, as you can see that there is a lot of index that you can use. Okay, for example, I want to use the triangular greenness index. Okay, the result should be like this. And from this spectral index, I will use the crop counting to count how many crop that I have. Okay, for example, the crop diameter. First, you need to measure, for the oil palm, you need to measure the crown of the crop. For example, I use 4 and maximum is 5, and everything I use the default. And the result will show like this. So the result will be depends on the setting that you set in the crown crop setting. Okay, from this crop counting, you can know the health of your crop by using the calculate crop matrix with spectral index. Okay, the result should be like this. As you can see that the darkest green show that your crop is very healthy, and the dark red will show that the unhealthy of your crop. Okay, we can see that your imagery can be leveraged into various output using multiple platform, which is desktop, online, or web-based. Also, there are lots of resources that are available in the web that help you to produce valuable information from your imagery. And so we do provide the training in order to you to develop the web application using your imagery data. Okay, that's all from me.
Thank you very much, Jonas.